So this is going to be my spoiler review for She-Hulk Episode 1, which just came out yesterday on Disney+. So this will be a spoiler review. So if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. Again, spoiler warning for She-Hulk Episode 1. So the episode starts with it being made clear that Jennifer Walters is already She-Hulk and she can break the fourth wall, and then she goes into a flashback of the entire origin that made her She-Hulk. So this was a slightly weird decision, but it doesn't bother me too much. The only reason why I think it is slightly weird to me is I think I personally would have rather had them just started with the origin instead of just making it this weird, very quick flashback. Not the flashback itself is not quick, it's long, but they get to the flashback like within a few minutes of the episode opening. I just personally think it would have been better if they had just started with the origin and stuff like that. So we see Jennifer get her powers from a car accident with Bruce that's caused by a spaceship from Sakaar, and after the wreck, Bruce's blood gets into a wound that Jennifer has. So we also get the reason behind Bruce being able to stay in human form is due to a device that he created to keep him that way, which clearly gets destroyed in the wreckage. Afterwards, Jennifer becomes She-Hulk and wakes up near a random bar where she's helped by a woman in the bathroom by being given clothing and stuff because hers were all torn up because she turned into She-Hulk after the accident. So waiting for Bruce outside, she gets harassed by some men who come out of the bar, and right as she turns back into the She-Hulk form on them, which I thought was funny, Bruce tackles her now that he's back in Hulk form, and she wakes up at Bruce's lab and bar in Mexico. So we find out that Jennifer and Bruce have the type of genetic makeup that made it so that the gamma radiation that's in their blood that turns them into a Hulk, they're just so unique in a way that they are able to control it and not die from it, and they are able to turn into the Hulk, which I guess makes semi-sense because they are family, but at that point that's just kind of a plot device because, Blonsky turned into Abomination and stuff. Although granted, he's Abomination, he probably can't control it as well or is as strong as Hulk or She-Hulk might be, but I digress on that. He also goes on to state that Jennifer's is even more unique than Bruce's in such a way where he's able to utilize her blood to heal his arm. It is kind of a weird caveat because the whole reason behind his arm not being able to heal is because it was the 6 Infinity Stones that caused it. So it is kind of a weird caveat in my opinion that her blood was able to heal it, but I don't think it's detrimental to the plot at all, or just in my head. I think it's just fine. It is what it is. So Bruce tries to trigger her transformation into the She-Hulk form by almost killing her with these saw blades against this robotic wall, and she does end up turning into She-Hulk, but then he finds out that she still has her Jennifer Walters personality when she turns into it, which obviously surprises him because Bruce only recently was able to become Smart Hulk, as he calls it, or Professor Hulk like in the comics. So he is surprised that she doesn't have like a crazed alter ego that's mindless and stuff like that, like how he did, which, is comic book accurate. She-Hulk has always been able to, I shouldn't say has always, but for the most part, has been able to control her transformation into She-Hulk and back into Jennifer Walters much more easily than Bruce Banner has been able to, and she's been able to maintain her wits about her for the most part. Bruce then tells Jennifer that they need to try to work on, exercises to help control her anger and stuff, and they go kind of on this, training montage, which was kind of funny to see, and everything that Bruce is doing, Jennifer is just seemingly doing better just off the bat, even though she just became She-Hulk and stuff. Although, Bruce kind of gets petty and, he throws the rock way farther, and then he pushes her off the cliff as well, and she gives him the finger. It is a pretty funny show. There were a couple times where the jokes didn't land for me, but overall I can tell that this is going to be probably a pretty funny show. But this also leads to a confrontation between the two of them where it's not like anything serious, but they do get into a fight, like a cousin type fight, and it's literally two Hulks going against each other, and they actually are fist fighting. And I actually did like this a lot because it's the first time we've gotten some Hulk action, like some genuine Hulk action in a decent amount of time. The last time we really got any Hulk action was, the beginning of Infinity War, yeah, but really it was Thor Ragnarok, which was in 2017. So it's been a while since we've had some Hulk action, so it was really good to see this. So Jennifer tells Bruce that she's trying to be a lawyer and that she doesn't want to be a superhero, which I believe actually led to the fight, because Bruce was trying to convince her that when you have the Hulk powers, there is no not being a superhero, but she wants nothing to do with being a superhero. She only wants to be a lawyer. Then they fought, and then they kind of made up a little bit when they accidentally broke his bar. So they were rebuilding the bar, and that was also the first time it seems like that she broke the fourth wall. So it's almost insinuating that she's able to break the fourth wall because of her She-Hulk transformation. So it's going to be kind of funny to see her breaking the fourth wall as it goes along, but I'm also curious to see if they're going to give any exposition as to why she's able to do that. On a side note as well, before I transition to the last part of the episode, it was actually pretty nice to see that Bruce and Tony Stark had a bigger relationship than we were seeing on screen. Like Bruce saying that Tony Stark helped him build the lab and stuff and the bar, and you see TS and Bruce Banner BB like carved into the wood of the bar itself. And then obviously when Jennifer Walters woke up for the first time too, there was like an Iron Man helmet. Now it does look more like a traditional Iron Man helmet that's like partially destroyed, but honestly to me when I first saw it, it looks like the helmet of the original Ultron robot that got possessed in Age of Ultron, because it literally has like the same type of markings, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe it's like a testament to like what they tried to achieve, him and Tony and stuff like that. Either way, I do like the exposition that Bruce and Tony were a lot more close than we potentially, not necessarily led to believe, than what we were able to see on screen. So I liked that a lot. So then Jennifer Walters cuts the flashback, and she goes back to start her trial that they were referencing at the beginning of the episode. Now, truth be told, the ending of this episode was just kind of strange to me in the way that it was directed, because you have Titania burst through the wall, and then Nikki, Jennifer Walters' best friend, is like, okay, you should Hulk up now, and she's just kind of like, yeah, okay. In my opinion, it's like, should there not be more conflict, since you just made a big deal about not being a superhero, and now you're just going to Hulk out to fight Titania and stuff like that? And then on that note as well, Titania just showing up and getting like KO'd like that quick, when I'm under the impression she's supposed to be like the main antagonist. Obviously, this is only episode 1, so I'm sure Titania will continue to be an antagonist of some kind, and we'll see how that plays out. But it's just like, it just felt overall really weird the way they went about it, and the way the CGI looked. Overall, the CGI is not bad at all. It's way better than it was in the trailers. But like the CGI fight and the way it was cut with the cameras and stuff, when she punched Titania, and Titania with like, I think she like tried to like air kick her or something like that, it just looked really wonky. So it kind of took me out of it a little bit, but overall I did think this episode was really good. I'm especially enjoying that, you know, we're getting different kind of flavors of MCU shows and genres, right? Like every show does not feel as similar as the last show. So that's also what I'm really enjoying about it. And then we do get a post-credit scene of, you know, them continuing a conversation they had in the car about whether or not Steve Rogers was a virgin or not. And, you know, Bruce says that I think he lost his virginity to a USO lady in 1943 or something like that. And I think that could be either referencing the girl that kissed him that Peggy caught him with in the first Captain America movie, or maybe the other girl in the first Captain America movie when he was going on the tour of like, you know, singing before he was actually Captain America and he was just a symbol. There was like a scene, if I'm recalling correctly, where like a picture was taken of him real quick, and then a girl walked up to him and like wanted his autograph, and like the way he looked at her, I don't know. I'm just insinuating that could be referencing who that is as well. But overall, I did think the episode was pretty good. Comment down below if you enjoyed She-Hulk episode 1, and if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to like and subscribe for future Marvel content. And I appreciate you for watching the video.